YouTube, and welcome to Keepin' It Comic, the channel that promises that you're always welcome even when you possibly destroy your entire world. I'm looking at you, Logan. So I believe I finally connected the entire storyline of the MCU from Deadpool 3 to Secret Wars, and it all has to do with Incursions, but specifically how Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be the ones causing them, and how it will set up major stakes for Secret Wars, the other Avengers movie, the Fantastic Four movie, and the next Doctor Strange movie, and clues to how the MCU has been setting this up all along.
I am soaking wet right now.
I am your host, GoofyRhexxi, and let's get into it. Now, before I get into the theory properly, I think it's important for us to actually discuss what an incursion is, because it's a word that's been getting thrown around a lot, but what does it actually mean? Now, the concept of incursions was first introduced in the Marvel Comics in Jonathan Hickman's The New Avengers. It all started when Black Panther was just chilling in Wakanda one day, and then he got hit by a rhino. Then at that moment, he saw another Earth hovering over their Earth, and then a smoking hot chick named Black Swan shows up from that Earth, and T'Challa's like, yeah, she's hot, and captures her, and then the group, the Illuminati, was formed, consisting of Black Bolt, Iron Man, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Namor, and Reed Richards. So Reed Richards asks Black Swan what's going on, and she lets them know what an incursion actually is. So basically, in the multiverse, universes are stacked next to each other in a straight line, like a bunch of bowling balls, with each Earth being like the planet that connects all the universes. So when the Earth gets destroyed, so does that universe. We good so far? Now, something happened, according to Black Swan, that caused the destruction of one Earth or one universe. And when that universe got destroyed, it created a vacuum in the multiverse, causing the adjacent universes previously on either side of that formerly existing Earth to collide with each other, resulting in the annihilation of both universes. That is what is known as an incursion, when two universes collide and destroy each other in the process. This destruction created a ripple effect throughout the multiverse, in which the Earths just continued colliding with each other. Black Swan alluded that the reason this started happening was because a powerful being known as Rabum Alal was born into that pre-existing Earth, and he caused the destruction of that universe. But that wasn't entirely true. Later in the Time Runs Out comics, we find out that Doctor Doom was actually killing Molecule Men in different universes, and the destruction of one Molecule Man resulted in the annihilation of a universe, which started causing the incursions. Now, incursions typically happen in under 8 hours, and the major way to stop an incursion is by destroying one of the Earths for the other one to survive. Suffice it to say that this puts our heroes in a very tight spot in the comics that leads to an intense beef between Captain America and the rest of the Illuminati. But that's a story for a whole different day. So that's incursions in a nutshell, although in the MCU, incursions are caused when an individual or individuals disrupt the flow of reality in another universe, thereby causing universes to attract and then destroy each other, which I suppose is not too different from the comics. So this brings us to Deadpool and how it all ties to Secret Wars and Doctor Strange. First of all, I think it's important to address the fact that much of Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be adopting the Old Man Logan comic storyline, which is a story where Red Skull gets all the major villains together to face all the heroes. Then Mysterio casts an illusion on Wolverine, which makes him think a bunch of villains are attacking the mansion, so he kills them all. But it turns out they were actually his friends. Logan single-handedly unalived the X-Men. It's probably why the bartender in the trailer says,
I told you, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome anywhere. Now get the fuck out of my bar.
Because we're assuming that in this movie, it's going to be revealed that he killed all of the superheroes. Now, in the comics, he was so sickened with guilt that he refused to bring out his claws for like 50 years. Hence why he can't bring out his claws in that scene, and why he's crying at what looks like the tombstones of the other X-Men, and why Paradox says he's failed his world. I believe in that movie, instead of Red Skull, Cassandra Nova, who is going to be the main villain of the movie, was the one who put the illusion in Logan's head, which is why he has a personal vendetta against her, and why he is probably working with Deadpool. This actually tracks with Cassandra Nova's character, because not only is she a powerful telepath on the same footing as Professor X, but she was strong enough to overpower Charles Xavier when he was using Cerebro at one time, to the point that Charles wanted to kill himself to get her out of his head. Cassandra's main MO is that she wants to destroy all mutants or Homo superiors so that they don't usurp their predecessors, the Homo sapiens, and then also to get back at Charles Xavier. In the new X-Men comics by Grant Morrison, she's the one who caused the Genosha genocide by activating a master mold and buying a bunch of advanced Sentinels. But there's something more peculiar about Cassandra Nova in this movie, because from the trailer, we can tell that she's in the void. We notice because right when she was using her telekinesis on Wolverine, we see a cave-like opening behind Logan. Later in the trailer, we see Logan and Wade jumping through that opening into a Doctor Strange-looking portal, and right behind the portal, we see Alioth. So if Cassandra, an all-powerful being that is in the void, what is she doing there? Could she perhaps be working with another all-powerful individual or individuals? I think in this movie, Cassandra Nova is working with the Kangs or the Council of Kangs or whatever villain Marvel decides to replace Kang with. I know with the whole Jonathan Majors drama, everyone thinks that Kang has taken a backseat as the next big bad villain, and that might be true, but I think it's most likely that they're going to recast him. It's a logical thing to do, I think, to kind of move the story along. So for the sake of this theory, we're going to stick with the possibility of Kang still being in play. Now, you might be wondering why she would be working with the Council of Kangs and what her ultimate end goal is here. Well, like I said, Cassandra is all about the preservation of the human race. In fact, in her little way, she's all about the preservation of life, albeit through her version of natural selection, I guess. So why would she ally with the Council of Kangs, right? Those dudes are literally conquerors that destroy universes, the very lives she's trying to preserve. Okay, well, I have a question for you. What if they have a common enemy? One that seeks to destroying everything. I'm not talking about superheroes. Get those guys out of here because Kangs have too much experience with killing heroes. I'm talking about a threat beyond the universe, beyond the multiverse. I'm talking about the Beyonders. Now, to explain how powerful the Beyonders are, they're beings who live outside of the known concept of the multiverse in a world called the Beyond Realm. And they're so powerful that in one universe, they easily took out the Celestials, Galactus, Eternity, Infinity, and even when the Living Tribunal showed up, you know, the being that's almost as powerful as the one above all, they took him out easily as well. That's exactly how powerful they are. I think the reason why there is even a Council of Kangs and the magnitude of what we saw in Quantumania was because of the threat of the Beyonders. I think they're going to enlist the service of Cassandra Nova to destroy Molecule Man or something akin to that, which destroys that universe. I think Cassie Nova causes the destruction of Earths, and by doing so, destroys that universe, and it starts causing incursions, and she does it multiple times in multiple worlds, and I think she's going to attempt to do the same to Wade's world as well. The TVA notices her destruction across the multiverse, and they're like, hey, something bad is happening. We gotta stop her. They enlist the help of Deadpool, and Deadpool enlists the help of Wolverine because he knows all about Cassandra Nova, as we've already established earlier. This is why Deadpool said,
I don't know anything about saving worlds, but you do.
I also think this corroborates with the ending of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because at the end, Clea tells Strange that incursions have started happening in the multiverse and they're going to fix it. I think Strange and Clea enlist the help of different heroes forming the multiversal Avengers to stop the incursions, just like in the Time Runs Out comics, hence why we see a Sorcerer Portal here, because Strange's goals and Deadpool's goals align. They have to stop Cassandra Nova from destroying more worlds, and then they find out that she's only doing the bidding of the Kangs. This leads to Doctor Strange 3, where we'll probably find characters like the Black Priest, who's also trying to stop the incursions by destroying worlds, and that will lead to King Dynasty, or whatever Avengers 5 is going to be called, and eventually the Secret Wars, where the heroes will have to battle heroes from other universes while facing the threat of the Beyonders. Now, you might be wondering, what does the Fantastic Four have to do with all of this? Well, my guess is due to the incursions caused in Deadpool 3, the universe of the Fantastic Four also gets destroyed. But Reed and the gang escape to our universe and join in on the fight. And since Kang and Cassandra Nova are kind of responsible for the destruction of their universe, best believe they have a bone to pick with them. You see, it's all connected. I told you Marvel has been cooking, right? But if you have a hard time wrapping your head around this, just look at the chronological order of the comics that lead to Secret Wars. First, we have Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, the New Avengers. Then we get a bunch of stories like Captain America getting old and giving the shield to Falcon, Jane Foster emerging as Mighty Thor. There's also the Avengers versus X-Men versus the Eternal Judgment Day, Superior Iron Man, and they all lead to the Time Runs Out comics, which eventually leads to Secret Wars. And now, what do you see in the MCU today? After the events of Avengers Endgame, which started the Loki series, which started the Multiverse Saga, what do we get? We get Captain America, who gets old and gives the shield to Falcon. Jane Foster comes as the Mighty Thor. And then we have X-Men coming into the fold. And with Doctor Strange assembling his team of Avengers, I'm guessing they might face off with the X-Men we we have in Deadpool, we also have Armor Wars and Ironheart on the horizon. It would all lead to Doctor Strange 3, which is going to be based on the Time Runs Out comics, which eventually leads to Secret Wars. Guys, I am not making this up. The incursions that are going to happen in Deadpool 3 are going to be what causes friction all the way up until Secret Wars. Honestly, I love the storyline. I guess Wade was right when he said,
I am Marvel Jesus.
So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I honestly think that this connects the MCU in such a way that we haven't seen it since the early years of the franchise, and I'm so excited for what's going to happen next. Be sure to check out our other theories here on this channel, like this one where we talk about the possible plot of Fantastic Four, as well as the perfect way to fix mutant discrimination for the X-Men and mutants. I'll see you on the next one, guys, and as always, thanks so much for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic. Bye.